rooms, differences there, personalities, things of that nature. We got plenty of time to talk about that still. One major move in college football that we brought up yesterday and mentioned it a little bit more today is North Dakota State making a move up to the FBS. One that I think a lot of people have kind of sat back for a long time, said, man, they got to make that move, right? But then a lot of other people are like, you're dominant. Why would you want to make that move when you could just stay and continue to rack up national championships? We're going to have Sam Herder on to discuss that here in just a moment. But don't forget, you can always listen to us online, jocksfm.com. The app is in your app store, iPhone, Android. Download it for free. Listen on the go. That'll direct you to the podcast as well. Also direct you to the YouTube page where you can watch the show live each and every day. Just go to Jocks945 on YouTube, search us there, and don't forget to tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year, the national champion of GMC dealers. You go up there and get a tremendous deal every single time. That's why 75% of their business is repeat customers. That's because you have a better experience when you shop with Bill Smith. I've been shopping with Bill Smith for a really long time. I've always very much appreciated the experience I have. They just do such a great job. So all you got to do is just go take the short drive and go see what it is I'm talking about. You can go get yourself a brand new GMC Sierra SLT trim. $67,675 is the list price. You take $14,500 off that list price, you get it for just over $53,000. Deals like that keep people coming back. There's a reason why they sell more vehicles than anyone in the entire Southeast, and there's a reason why they've been number one in Alabama for a really, really long time. Go and see them. I-65 exit 310, Highway 31 in Coleman. You can also shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
All right, let's go to the Higginbotham hotline now. Sam Herder joins us. He covers the FCS and obviously has covered North Dakota State for a long time. $12 million North Dakota State will pay the Mountain West to join. $5 million actually to the NCAA. If you recall, it was just a couple of years ago where they changed that fee when a lot of teams started making that jump. And I think the NCAA sat back and said, we better collect some checks now since everybody's trying to make this move. Sam, I'm interested to hear from you the level of surprise that North Dakota State was finally going to make this move to FBS. Where were you on it?
Yeah, I think the Friday night news dump, if you want to call it that, was certainly a bombshell. I think it surprised a lot of people. At the same time, it was pretty well known for those that cover the FCS and cover NDSU more specifically that NDSU wanted to go to the FBS. They weren't, as vocal about it as a team like Sacramento State, but certainly NDSU wanted to go to the FBS. They were doing a lot of things behind the scenes to make that jump to the FBS, but it was never, something where we could really get great clarity on how likely that was going to happen. There was not a whole lot of smoke out there about NDSU potentially going FBS. There were some rumors here or there, but the Friday night news dump, like I called it, did kind of come out of nowhere because for the last few weeks it was relatively quiet when it came to NDSU making that jump to the FBS. But I think the reaction was a bit of surprise, but also a lot of about time. Whether you're an FCS fan or an FBS fan, I think a lot of people were kind of just waiting for NDSU to finally make this jump. Until now, they haven't gotten that invite to make the jump to the FBS until the Mountain West came calling, and it's a financial risk for NDSU, but I do think they have the boosters and the donors to make this work.
So what exactly are their finances looking like? I mean, obviously you're spending $12 million just for a seat at the table. It makes sense to me. They can probably have immediate success. I'm sure James Madison's success and path to the playoff last year probably factored into this decision. So how secure is North Dakota State from a financing standpoint right now to be able to pay this money and then hopefully recoup that money by being in the Mountain West?
Yeah, I think the $5 million that is going to the NCAA and then the $12.5 million going to the Mountain West. I heard that's all going to be privately raised. So the boosters and the donors and maybe some corporate sponsors will be able to come up with that money for the Bison. The one thing that is kind of going in NDSU's favor here is this is football only. They will be able to keep their other sports in the Summit League, and that's going to save a whole lot of money on travel costs. If this was an all sports invite for NDSU to jump to the Mountain West, I don't know if they would be able to swing this financially, but just the fact that it is for football, I do think they can get this done. Now they're going to have to, certainly raise their football budget. I think they spend about $6 million. That's their football budget. You look at the Mountain West, the lowest I believe is Nevada, and that's about $12 to $13 million. And so NDSU is certainly going to have to invest more in the football program with NIL and revenue sharing and coaching salaries and recruiting budgets, all of that. The Bison are going to have to step up their game. And, what's interesting is it sounds like NDSU isn't going to receive any CFP payouts until 2032. They're not going to receive a whole lot of money from the Mountain West media deal either. So that's why I said this is a financial risk for NDSU because, money-wise, they were kind of at the top of the FCS and, not a lot of people could spend like NDSU could spend. Well, now it's NDSU catching up with everyone else and how they spend money on football. But I do think I've already heard plenty about donors and boosters and just casual fans too that maybe donate $200 to the NIL, every month. All of them or not all of them, but a lot of them are doubling the amount of money they're giving just because, there is new excitement. And playing in the FCS playoffs did get old for NDSU fans, and they struggled to sell out playoff games just because it was been there, done that for a lot of those fans. So I do think the new excitement that has been generated will come with a lot of money. Now the pressure is to win because all of a sudden you don't start winning, and are you going to be able to raise that much money year over year? That's the big question mark for NDSU. But I do think they will be able to compete pretty dang well in the Mountain West.
You can follow Sam on Twitter at Sam Herder FCS. Covers the FCS for Hero Sports. Go to herosports.com, find his work. I'm interested in where the fans are, you think. You mentioned that it had gotten a little bit old going to the FCS playoffs, winning FCS championship games. That feels like it's gotten a little bit more crowded, though, in the last 4 or 5 years with South Dakota State, amongst a few others that are now realistically contending every year. It doesn't seem like you could pick two and one of the others going to win it every year like you could for maybe a decade. But where are fans on this move? Excited about it? Feel good about it? Level of confidence also on just how successful they think this program can be moving up?
Yeah, I think it's hard to put a percentage on it. Maybe 85 to 90% of NDSU fans are super excited about this. And there is that smaller contingent, honestly, probably the older fan base for NDSU that doesn't like this move. And, they like watching the 3 playoff games in the Fargo Dome in December, and they like chasing national championships because NDSU has, it's like 19 total national championships going all the way back to D2. So they have a history of winning national championships. And now that's not going to happen, anymore, in the current landscape of the FBS. And so there is some fans that don't necessarily like this, but for the most part, a majority of the Bison fans were ready for something new. And it's hard for a lot of fans to understand that. Like, how can you get bored of winning national championships and you're the big fish in a small pond and, everything kind of revolves around NDSU in the FCS world. But if you're a Bison fan and you've been there, done that before, and every quarterfinal game is usually going to result in a 28-7 win, and you've been to the national championship pretty much every year. Meanwhile, you're seeing some of your best competition, whether it was Georgia Southern or most recently James Madison and Sam Houston. You see them make the jump to the FBS, and a lot of them are having success, especially James Madison. You can understand why a lot of NDSU fans are saying, well, that could be us. We could do that at the next level. Instead, we're kind of doing the same old. And so that's why I think most Bison fans are ready for this next challenge.
How quickly do you think they can compete? I mean, we've seen James Madison, we've seen Jack State, we've seen Delaware, we've seen teams make the jump and have pretty decent success. I don't think any are as good or have the longevity and the track record of North Dakota State. So how quickly can this team compete for a possible college football playoff spot?
Yeah, I do think NDSU will be among the top group of 6 teams pretty quickly. We've seen that with, James Madison. Now JMU has an advantage where they get I don't know what it is. They get $50 million or maybe even more just from student fees, right? Like they get that money. They don't even have to sell a ticket. NDSU doesn't have that luxury. The Bison don't get a whole lot of money from student fees. I think they get like $1.5 million from student fees. They don't get a whole lot of money from the state. NDSU was the lowest allocated program in the FCS, meaning, a lot of the money that they spent, they had to raise themselves. And so financially, they have a bigger hurdle to clear compared to a team like James Madison. But NDSU has fantastic facilities. The Bison somewhat recently opened a $55 million practice facility that was all privately raised. And so the money is there from the Bison fan base to make this successful. They're joining a Mountain West conference that, is a good conference, but it's not, the Mountain West of old, obviously. And so I don't know if there's anyone in the new Mountain West that you immediately say, yeah, NDSU can't beat that team. Like, I think NDSU can. I'm not saying they will, but every game they play in the Mountain West this upcoming year, the Bison will have a chance to win. The 26 Bison team, they have a lot more question marks compared to some past teams. And so this isn't, like the 2018, 2019 juggernaut NDSU team or anything like that. They do have a decent amount of questions, but NDSU has been able to reload pretty much year after year. So I think they'll compete immediately at the top of the Mountain West Conference. I don't know enough about FBS football or Group of Six football to know what, the pathway from the Mountain West to the CFP, how clear that is, because it seems like the American and the Pac-12, maybe the Sun Belts will be viewed as stronger conferences than the Mountain West, but certainly I think NDSU will have to schedule pretty smart in the non-conference and, schedule some tough group of six teams, some of the top group of six teams, because I don't know if just winning the Mountain West will get the Bison into the CFP. I think they'll have to certainly pad their resume a bit in the non-conference.
I think one of the advantages that they'll have is they come with a reputation already. And whether you follow FCS football or not, if you're talking about voting for Team A, Team B, Team C, and you see North Dakota State, I think a lot of people's brains say, oh, yeah, they're pretty good. Like, that's actually an advantage for them. And I don't know if we've ever seen that before from the FCS to the FBS. And it won't be in totality, but I do think for a lot of people, it'll help sway them in their direction. You mentioned the team maybe having some weaknesses this year. What has the portal been to North Dakota State the past few years? We don't follow it as closely here. We don't really know. Has it given them a lot more talent? Has it stolen a lot of talent from them? Where have they sort of lived in this portal world?
Yeah, they do have a decent collective, NIL collective that's since moved in-house with the House settlement. They've done probably a better job than most FCS teams as far as retaining their top talent. This year they did get hit harder than usual when it came to the transfer portal. They lost about 8 starters to the FBS. In past years, it was like maybe 2 or 3 starters they would lose to the FBS. If you're an FCS team, you can't retain all of your top talent, especially when, Colorado and Vanderbilt, and Iowa, come calling to your players. You can't really go dollar for dollar when it comes to paying these players. So I think overall, the portal has hurt NDSU this year more than past years. They don't dip into the portal a whole lot. That could maybe change now that they're in the FBS, but they still rely on their developmental program and bringing guys up through the system instead of, we lose 8 guys to the FBS. Well, we have to bring in 10 guys from the FBS to replace them. It's more so, well, we have a third-year redshirt sophomore that we think can step up as, the starting guard or whatever, because we've developed him through our system. So the portal has hurt NDSU, like I said, in some ways. And that is one reason why they do have a bit more question marks going into this year, is because it seems this year's portal cycle has hit NDSU a bit tougher than past years.
What do you think is a realistic timeline of this going down? Is it going to happen immediately? And if so, how soon can they hop in with what they currently have on the roster and be competitive this year?
Yeah, so they're playing a full Mountain West schedule in 2026. They're pretty much ripping up their non-conference slate, which was going to be against 4 FCS non-conference teams. They're ripping that up, and I believe they're going to try to schedule 3 FBS opponents in the non-conference. So they're turning this around pretty dang quickly to be a fully FBS team in 2026. They're not going to be eligible until 28 for, I believe, the Mountain West title game and the CFP and bowl games. Now, we've seen, like this last year, there weren't enough bowl eligible teams, or some other teams opted out of bowl games, and so a team like Missouri State, who wasn't eligible due to their transition from the FCS to the FBS, they were actually able to play in a bowl game. So I would kind of imagine we'll see NDSU in the postseason, likely a bowl game sooner than later. But yeah, it's a really quick turnaround time, and they're not doing the usual. They're joining the Mountain West in 2 years, and then this first year they're still in the FCS going through the transition. They're making the jump into the bigger pool right away here.
Sam, I want to go back to something you brought up a little bit earlier, and it was the non-conference. Do you see them sort of chasing money games? Do you see them playing paycheck games, or do you see them playing games that they think they can win and at the same time may potentially help boost their schedule a little bit?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to aim for some pay games. I don't think they're going to load up and play 3 Power 4 games in the non-conference. I think they're going to. I mean, they can make $6 million or $5 to $6 million doing that. But I'm guessing their strategy is going to be 1 Power 4 game, maybe 1 FCS game, and then 2 top tier Group of 6 games. It's probably their strategy for the non-conference. I will say that NDSU has, as an FCS program, has really struggled to get FBS games on their schedule. They just simply FBS teams just simply did not want to play NDSU because the Bison are 6-1 or something like that in their last 7 games against FBS opponents. Now you would expect that to be a little bit easier for NDSU to get some Power 4 games. It sounds like they're going to at least try to get a Power 4 opponent on their schedule this year. I don't know who has openings or not, but maybe there's a potential opening somewhere out there. So I don't think they're going to chase multiple pay games, but I'm sure at least one time per year they're going to try to get a Power 4 opponent on their schedule.
Is it hard for them to schedule? I would think a lot of Power 4 teams be like, we're not playing North Dakota State. Why the heck would we play them? We can get beat.
Exactly, yeah, because NDSU had a stretch there where they beat Kansas State and Iowa State, and they beat Iowa in 2016, and Iowa was ranked number 13 or 11, something like that at the time. So I do think you can make the argument either way that now that NDSU is FBS, they're going to have an easier path to get some of these Power 4 teams on their schedule. You can also argue, well, if these teams weren't going to play NDSU at 63 scholarships, why would they play NDSU at 85 scholarships? Because now they have an even maybe a more likelihood of losing that game. So it's not like any Power 4 team is going to say yes to NDSU now, but I do think just that letter FBS instead of FCS, those letters, I do think NDSU probably has a better opportunity now to get some of those teams back on their schedule.
Absolutely. Sam, great stuff, man. Thanks for helping us out, educating us on this move, what it means, what it's going to look like. We didn't have all the details, and you did. We appreciate you hopping on with us today. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Sam Herder joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, covers the FCS, talking that move from North Dakota State up to FCS. Sacramento State allegedly looking to make that move as well. So are you surprised to see, with all the deficits we've seen around college athletics, Greg, these teams still trying to make the jump?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little surprising. But also at the same time, James Madison breaking through last year, I think woke a lot of people up. Now, the likelihood of that happening again is slim. I mean, that's where my biggest holdup is. We see James Madison make it. Now North Dakota State thinks it can. All these other schools think they can. But they got in because of what transpired in the ACC, where they had a team that was 8-5 that won their conference title. That's no longer the case. The Power 4 is they're champions getting in because they've now adjusted their tiebreaker scenarios, so their top 2 teams will be the teams that are playing for the conference championship. So I think a lot of people are looking at James Madison and say, well, they did it, why can't we? But James Madison got in a little bit on a contingency. Like, it was a little bit of a unique scenario. So is it repeatable? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
We'll see how it looks. If you're trying to get into a new home, maybe you should call the Gusty Goulas Group, 205-542-1996. Google GustyGoulasGroup.com or Gusty Goulas Group, and you'll see over 850 5-star Google reviews. Since 2012, Gusty Goulas Group recognized both nationally and locally as Greater Birmingham, Alabama's #1 team in homes sold. The Gusty Goulas Group has served more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the Greater Birmingham area. Gusty invests thousands in the latest tools, social media networks, so he knows what homes are coming available and what they can possibly get for yours. Just go to GustyGoulasGroup.com, button at the top right-hand corner of the page, smash that button. Very little information. They'll tell you what they think they can get for your home right now. Brokered by eXp Realty. It's Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group, 205-542-1996, GustyGoulasGroup.com, and start packing. You know who thinks that North Dakota State will have no issue with this move?
North Dakota State players.
And
you
fans, specifically homers, which will be a part of our conversation next, right here on Jocks. It's okay to be a homer. It's okay to root for your team. Maybe show a little bias every now and then. We don't have a problem with that. That's what makes fans great. That's why there's passion for sports, passion for teams. Some people think that there is maybe a little bit too much in other places, though. We'll discuss that in a moment. Maybe you're not getting enough sleep or you need more energy. If this is an issue for you, you can go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. You get the free PSA test, free testosterone test. They're going to let you know where your baseline health is. A lot of different options that they have for what they can do for you. Peptides, weight loss programs. They just want to get your health right and get you back to feeling your best at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Now open in Trustville. Locations all across the Southeast and Alabama. Holistic approach to health and wellness. You walk in the front door, tell them right now, hey, I heard you on Mac and Cube. You save 10% on any service that they offer you. And they're not going to try to press you into those. Not going to try to push you into things that you don't need. Minimal upfront cost for the programs that they offer as well at Game Day Men's Health. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Book your free consultation today. So John Sebair introduced us to a certain list that has recently come out. Greg. You have nothing to say?
I've seen the list. I thought you were going to keep going.
It is Awful Announcing's 2025 College Football Media Bias Rankings. Rankings? The article is titled, also, I like when they write these by the Awful Announcing staff, so no one has to put their name on it. Hey, we're going to go and drop elbows on everybody in a certain industry. Nobody really wrote this. Which college football media members are most biased according to fans? Methodology that they used here. They asked for your votes in early December, put forth a list of 40 individuals. Basic criteria were that the individual had a national platform. We excluded those from team-specific sites or folks who work primarily for conference-affiliated networks. I guess that's why I was removed from this list.
Homer.
I thought our radio show was national, though.
Yet number one is puzzling, but okay.
College football, one of the leading sports they covered. No play-by-play announcers or reporters for the most part. And a focus on larger names that the typical fan might recognize. That probably is the real reason that I was removed from this list.
Definitely.
The following question was asked for all 40 names. Do you observe a notable, consistent bias favoring any specific conference? Bias favoring ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, Notre Dame or other, no notable bias, or unfamiliar with their work, which is probably where I would have fallen for most. Number one, Paul Feinbaum. I think PFF actually wrote this because he receives a plus 97 SEC bias.
Plus 97.
Plus
Out of-
97.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. He's 23 points higher than anybody else.
Landslide.
He kind of plays the part.
Even though they're not picking people that are associated with conference-only networks.
He's on First Take, John.
That's national.
Okay.
Number two is Dave Portnoy. I feel like if you were going to select most biased individuals, you would not select individuals who intentionally go out and show their bias.
Correct.
Right.
And an effort like that is his. And the fact that Portnoy, who will openly wear Michigan gear
Inside the horseshoe. Or I'm sorry, they wouldn't let him in there. Outside the horseshoe.
I mean, right?
Right. It's
Fair. No, I think he plays the part, and he has no problem playing the part. So
Yet Paul is higher, though.
also kind of doesn't mind playing the part.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, for the
I know that, but also it feels like, well, hold on. Like,
Yeah, but Paul's not wearing Bama gear.
oh, okay, well,
I
that
mean,
we know.
a little bit different. Number three, Nick Saban.
I knew it.
Plus 71 SEC bias. That's down
Knew
from
it.
his plus 68 from a year ago. I mean,
In all fairness, I do think Coach does tout the SEC. I mean, but I think he does it because he acknowledges how good the SEC is. Like, he's not coming. I don't think it's not intentional.
I
Like,
don't think he's making anything up.
Portnoy and Feinbaum go out of their way. Like, Coach is just calling it how he sees it. That's
Fair.
the way I see it.
See, but you wouldn't think that's biased. You just think that that's his true feelings.
I think that's his true feelings.
Yeah. Up next will be Clay Travis with a plus 67 SEC bias.
Don't know. Hadn't seen the tape.
Brandon Walker plus 55 SEC bias.
Hadn't seen the tape.
Booger McFarland with a plus 50 SEC bias.
I don't feel like Booger's biased, but
Right.
at all.
The numbers would show otherwise. So sorry.
That's the way I see it.
Dang, Booger.
Kirk Herbstreit plus 44 SEC bias.
SEC?
Yes.
I don't see it.
I would disagree with that one.
Yeah.
The others so far, not Bug, but the others so far, I'd be on board with. Brady Quinn plus 37 Notre Dame bias.
Or other.
Are you sensing a
Okay.
theme here?
Is that the conferences or teams that most of these people actually cover on a regular basis or more regular basis are the ones that are being accused of being biased towards?
No, like if you played for a certain league, you are biased.
You mean that Taylor Lewan would be next with a plus 37 Big Ten bias?
Yeah. Like if you're a good player at a specific school, emphasize good player at a specific school, people are going to naturally assume that you're biased for that school
Sure.
and or that team.
But like let's say
Herbstreit played 40 years ago.
he's the only one though that's not in that category so far.
Correct, because no one remembers what his career was like as a Buckeye. And it's not a negative thing. They view him as a television analyst. And because he's associated with ESPN,
Who has more SEC games?
who
than
has
anything
all the
else.
SEC
Yeah.
games, you're calling SEC games,
Yeah.
people are going to naturally make that connection. So, but if Herbstreit played in, say, I don't know, 2015, it'd be a little different because you'd be able to, he's a Buckeye. Like I remember him as a Buckeye. I think it's a little bit different when you played in the early 90s or the late 80s or whenever it was that he played.
No, because
People would
I
remember
will
him as a
tell
player.
you that like when you were playing college football,
Yeah.
that thought on Herbstreit would have been the exact opposite.
That he was a Big Ten homer.
100%.
Hmm.
And Ohio State.
Gotcha.
Taylor Lewan, though, like if you take that one for example, I don't think that he ultimately takes himself overly serious as an analyst.
Right.
He feels like he's more of an entertainer. Now he can talk football with you if he wants to, but like when Michigan comes up, like he's gonna have fun with that,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's like the Ohio State game. He's gonna go further, and he'll never. He's one of those guys that's never gonna pick Ohio State to beat Michigan, no matter what the records are or the teams are.
Right.
That's kind of where he falls in the categories, and there's not a problem with that, not an issue with that. It's just I don't view that as bias. I just view that as sort of how he portrays his role in the landscape. Urban Meyer plus 36 Big Ten bias. Now that one I feel like is a little more in line with where the people are voting.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't, it's going to sound so bad.
You haven't seen the tape?
I've literally never watched Big Noon Kickoff.
Well, he
I
has a
know that
podcast
sounds-
with Mark Ingram too.
Haven't listened to that either.
Okay. I've watched it a few times.
I'm also going to admit I don't watch a lot of game day. So if you want me to be honest, like it's not really, it's just I have a routine on game day that I don't watch a lot of game day. Like I'll have it on occasionally if we have a night game or I'm get done with my production meeting and we kind of have it on. Like, yeah, I mean, occasionally, but I mean, how much game day are you watching? How much Big Noon are you watching? Like, I have no idea what these people think. I really don't. Is that bad?
No, but I'm trying to. I try to, like you. I'm usually doing things during
Yeah.
the day on Saturday to get ready for the game.
Correct.
Your games are earlier than mine, so you're even in more of a rush earlier in the morning.
True.
I can usually take my time.
And I get
try
to the
to.
stadium 8 hours before kick,
And
which
sometimes
you
we
are
have.
amazed with.
Yeah, I am. Sometimes we
That is odd.
have. Sometimes we have production meetings Saturday mornings. I try to get my workout in first because I know if I don't do it early, I'm not going to do it.
Yep.
But also then I try to flip around. Like I'll watch some game day every now and then. I'll flip over to Big Ten or Big Noon kickoff.
Big Ten
I
kickoff.
also try to watch with Notre Dame. I also try to watch some SEC Nation because the guy who's going to be calling the game with me later is going to be on that show. I want to see what he says. So I try to flip around and watch a little bit of all of them. Danny Cannell plus 33 ACC bias. Mike Golick Jr. plus 33 Notre Dame bias. Joel Klatt plus 31 Big Ten bias.
That one's laughable.
You don't think? You think
Higher.
I think if you were to ask like the random fan, like where did Joel Klatt go to school?
They wouldn't say.
No one knows.
Nobody. Yeah, nobody would say.
So
Colorado.
that helps him.
Right.
And no one remembers a play from Joel Klatt's career. Not a negative. It just it was before we paid a lot of attention to, and he played what, early 2000s? How old is Joel?
I think it was early 2000s.
Whenever
If
it
not
was.
90s.
Like, but no one remembers like the Colorado. No one was sitting there hanging on every play from Colorado when he was playing.
Right.
So like they view him as a broadcaster. So like you have an advantage when you're viewed as a broadcaster, not as a former player, but as a broadcaster. He's viewed that way.
02 to 05.
And he's been
wow.
so it was a little later than I thought. I think Joel does a fine job. But if you think for a second he's not carrying the water, I mean, like, it's aggressive. And what this list is telling me is that because people are telling you that ESPN is biased towards the SEC, that is more frustrating for people, I think, and the ESPN people, because people actually watch ESPN. They're the ones that get criticized a little more than some of the other platforms where people aren't necessarily watching as much.
They did win a Houston Bowl.
Okay. Who they play?
I
They just want you.
don't know.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, wait, that was
It's not negative.
UTEP. You tell me that wasn't the
Colorado versus UTEP. Oh,
Miners and
If
Buffaloes
Joel,
just going at
Klatt,
it?
if Joel Klatt played at Florida State, people would be like, oh, yeah, I remember. Okay. If Danny Cannell played at Colorado, they'd be like, I don't remember. They'd think he's, whatever.
yeah.
I remember that Cordell Stewart played at Colorado.
Is he doing work on Big Ten
No, but I'm just
Network?
there are some guys that played at Colorado that I remember.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. It's not a knock on Klatt. It's just when you think, all right, do you think of him as a former player or do you think of him as a broadcaster?
Broadcaster.
I think of him as a broadcaster.
Yeah, like Desmond Howard plus 31 Big Ten bias. People are going to probably say that no matter what,
No matter what.
because he has
He
the
played
most
at Michigan.
the most memorable Heisman pose of any college football player ever, because he was the first to do it
In a
Yeah.
picture of
And then won
maize,
it.
in a color of
in a
maize and
Michigan
blue.
uniform. Yeah. Will Compton plus 29 Big Ten bias. Josh Pate plus 27 SEC bias.
I knew it. Tried to deny it.
Wow.
I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
He does. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Heather Dinich plus 26 SEC bias. Hold on a
Oh,
second.
okay.
Where did that come
This
from?
definitely is
That-
PFF now.
That is out of left field.
Unreal.
Jesse Palmer plus 26 SEC bias.
Knew it.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Big Cat plus 20 Big Ten bias.
Big Hat Bryant.
Yes, that one.
Wow.
I'm not even
Can't
sure.
get that barn out of him.
I mean, we've had him on the show. Like, he's
Big
open.
Cat is the most realistic
Man, what?
of the Big Ten fans I think we've ever had on.
He's also a Big Ten fan, though. So, like,
Right.
Matt Berry plus 19 SEC bias.
Oh, wow.
Matt
okay,
Berry?
yeah. Totally
Mark
makes
Ingram
sense.
plus 18 SEC bias.
Oh, yeah, that makes
More
sense.
like just Bama.
Yeah, he's like plus 100 Bama
Well,
bias.
man, just Bama.
Yeah, that's different.
Matt Leinart plus 16 Big Ten bias.
Well, that's because USC is in the Big
Can
Ten.
you not do Pac-12 anymore? You still
Nope.
do that?
No.
Wasn't an option.
No.
I guess other was. So it could
No.
Andy Staples plus 12 SEC bias. RG3 plus 11 Big 12 bias.
Oh God.
Todd McShay plus 10 SEC bias.
a draft analyst. He's got SEC bias because more SEC players get drafted.
Exactly.
Here's the one of all that will probably throw people off the most. This will get the most reaction from the people. With a plus 12 SEC bias, Gary Danielson.
No.
Still.
No.
This is 2025, not 2005.
No. Not
Yes.
gonna buy it.
It's real. It's numbers. It's like the Rubik's Cubelic.
God.
Still has that bias in him.
Man,
No,
call
we
him
did
Big
skip
Ten.
over one with a strong, and by strong, I mean strong plus 4 SEC bias grade per PFF. Our very own Greg McElroy.
Let's go.
What was my number again?
Plus 54.
54.
You beat Boog.
Beat Boog.
The highest analyst, 6th overall. Yeah, that's saying something.
Hey,
See?
top
Yeah.
10.
We knew it.
I wonder
Good
why.
news is you're not in Brandon Walker's category. You're 1 point behind him. So that's a win for you. I
There you
believe.
go. There you go. But you think there has something to do with the fact that I played at the most loathed program nationally? Won a natty. People probably remember me as a player.
I thought that was Indiana because they had all the old guys.
Yeah. I mean, I think that factors in.
Yeah.
If there's one thing.
How many games did you do this year that did not include an SEC team?
Semifinal. First game of the year.
Yeah.
And the ACC championship.
Okay. So 90% of your games, you were talking about SEC teams.
3 out of
20-ish?
20.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard for people to pay attention to what you do.
15%.
We, because we live in Birmingham, Alabama, are going to focus primarily on Auburn, Alabama, then the SEC, and then we try to talk about everybody. But those are going to be the ones that we discuss first because we're going to super serve our audience, and that's what the majority of our audience is. We talk Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. We talk Ohio State, Michigan, USC.
Yeah.
Hell, we just did a segment on North Dakota State.
Yeah.
But anybody that listens to what you do, the majority of it is going to be discussing those teams. So therefore, if they don't closely pay attention, I think automatically they're going to say, SEC bias.
All that being said, I appreciate very much you suggesting that I don't have bias. Allow me to state for the record, the SEC is the best league with the best players and with the most resources and with the best product. So you can say all these other things like that
Is
might
what
be
you
SEC
just said bias, though?
in some
If
people's
that's your
eyes.
real opinion, that's not bias.
If some people believe that that's not true, by all means, that's my belief. I don't really care what everyone else's opinion is, frankly, because their opinion is they're perfectly allowed to have. If they think the Big Ten top to bottom has better players and better teams and better personnel, then by all means, I'm fine with that. I
don't even care about teams. Or are there people who do you really think there are people out there that they think top to bottom, the Big Ten has better players in the SEC?
100% people think that.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
They may say that.
They might say that, but
They don't believe that.
hell, they think that the SEC is having their water carried by ESPN. When in reality, when CBS had the top game for the SEC, I still felt like the SEC was the best league. And then Fox won the rights to get the lead package of the SEC. I'd still think that. And if NBC got the top game, and they were very much in the mix to do that, had NBC gotten the top game, guess what? I'd still think the SEC was best. If I went to work for CBS, which I almost did 2 years ago, was this close to going to CBS and calling exclusively Big Ten games, guess
Brag
what I'd
about it.
still think? I still think the SEC is the best league, top to bottom.
And you would say that, and you can say that.
I will continue. I will never not say that until it changes, and in which case it changes, by all means. You
I just
go
wonder
ask
what
any
people.
coach.
I wonder what people think, Greg, when if you really looked at it and you looked at Arkansas and you said, "Man, they're going to have a running back drafted. They're going to have a quarterback drafted. They're going to have a receiver drafted. They're going to have a linebacker drafted. They're going to have an edge defender drafted. They're going to have a defensive tackle drafted." All right, let's look at Mississippi State. They're going to probably have 2 running backs, not this year, but over time on this team. They're going to have 2 running backs drafted, probably 2 receivers drafted, maybe a defensive tackle drafted. You go to Auburn. They're going to have a center drafted. They're going to have receivers that transfer, but still on that team this year, multiple receivers drafted, an edge defender, 2 edge defenders drafted, a linebacker drafted, a corner drafted, and you're sitting there like, are we saying that about the lower tier of the Big Ten?
No.
I've watched those teams. You're not.
I've called their
Florida
games.
Florida. What did Florida finish this year? 6-6, 5-6,
5-7.
5-7. How many guys on that team are getting drafted?
All
a lot of them.
It's gonna be a bunch.
I mean,
You don't need to convince me. I've called the games. I've seen the personnel. I've studied the tape. I've been in the stadium. You can still acknowledge that they execute at a really high level in some cases. Like there's some good teams, no question, in the Big Ten. Teams that you wouldn't want to play, teams that will make it difficult to get a win against. Like they don't mess up. They don't do dumb things. Like they're awesome. I think the Big Ten's great. I think the ACC is great. I think the ACC is highly entertaining. A lot of people think that's insane.
The ACC had better players this year than they have in the last few. Also, some of those were added through the portal, but
they're great, though. It's a good league. Like I love the Big 12. I love them all. They're just not as good as the SEC, in my opinion.
like you roll into play South Carolina this year, who didn't go to a bowl game, and you got to deal with Lenore Sellers and Dylan Stewart.
Right.
Think about that.
It's different, dude. And everybody that knows ball knows that.
Like Vanderbilt, I know they had a good year this year, but they're going to have the first tight end drafted off the board, the first one.
Vanderbilt.
When did Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma when they joined the SEC? Like that job got a lot tougher. He knew. Go ask the coaches. Do an anonymous poll of the coaches and ask them which league is the most difficult. And by the way, you want an anonymous poll of the viewers, the consumers? Look at the league that gets the most eyeballs, top to bottom. It's the SEC because it's the best product. It's the most entertaining product, and the games come down to the wire because the teams are close. So all you got to just look at the viewership. It's not an accident.
No, I'm just going down this list like I'm thinking Tennessee. Like running back, center, maybe 2 guards, defensive tackle, off the ball linebacker, safety corner, all going to be drafted this year. Missouri, running back eventually will be drafted. Tackle will eventually be drafted. Tight end is eventually going to be drafted. 2 D tackles, 2 edge defenders, an off the ball linebacker, a safety, all going to be drafted. Like that.
I'll tell you what I'm biased for. Talent.
Ability.
And good teams. I was biased for Indiana last year.
And
Love that team.
there's a big difference in that. And some people can't separate that.
They can't. But ultimately, what's working against me in the biggest possible way is the fact that I played quarterback at Alabama within your lifetime. People remember that. So people are going to be able to, it's going to be impossible for them to be able to disconnect that, which is fine. I really don't care. If you're good, you will get credit from me. Same with Cole. If you're good, I will love you every day of the week. Who won the Joe Moore Award this year?
Iowa.
Yep. Did you vote for them?
Yes.
No, I voted for South Carolina.
No. Don't put that on me. Do not put that on me. All right, we'll continue talking it on the other side next, right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9:47, Tuesday, February 10th, right here on Jocks. Flu season is active. If it hasn't hit your school, your household, try to keep it that way. Make your home healthier with Train's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. Removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. 100 times more effective than standard air filters. 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. Find a dealer near you at Train.com. It's hard to stop a Train. Is there anything that you do to try to avoid people believing that you have any sort of bias when you discuss teams?
No. If you start worrying about how everybody interprets everything you say, like you're going to be running around in circles. So like, no, I just try to call it how I see it. And if you're great, you'll get love. If I'm not so sure about how quote great you are, then no, you won't get love.
Yeah, the only
It's
thing
pretty
that
simple.
when younger people trying to get into this business ask me, the only thing that I share is that anything that I say, I want to be able to present video evidence of. So if I tell you that Iowa's offensive line is really good, and you say, "Man, they're terrible. They've given up 11 TFLs this year," or they only have 1.86 yards per carry before contact when running to the left, and there's certain defense against them, so their grade is a .397 plus 815. I'll say, okay, well, let me show you this. And I've seen that, so I know that, and I've got that, and therefore I don't believe that that's debatable. When I've seen it, I don't believe it's debatable. And if my eyes believe it, then that's what I will try to present to you. If I haven't seen it, I'll tell you I don't know, or I'll tell you maybe. Or if I've only seen a little bit of it, I'll say possibly, potentially. But if I haven't seen it, Greg, number one, I'm not going to take a strong stance on it. But if I've seen it and I believe what I see, then I'll be glad to let you know how good I think that is.
And we might be wrong. I mean, it doesn't always work out. Like there are times when you think, oh man, this team's gonna be really good, and they don't end up being like. I loved Clemson going into the year last year. Like quickly got off them once you saw how bad they played against LSU in week 1. Like
not even that. It can be right for 3 weeks and then wrong the last 3 weeks.
1,000,000%. Like look at LSU. They were top 3 in the country when we called their game at Ole Miss, and they lost. And then sure enough, it's like, all right, well, the offense has major issues. We knew that going in, but we thought maybe against Ole Miss, they'd find themselves because Ole Miss defense wasn't great. So, and it never materialized. Like you can have an assumption. It just never really gets going. So yeah, sometimes that happens too.
All right. We'll get you a bad box score of the day next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 9:53 Tuesday, February 10th, right here on Jocks. Get you a bad box score of the day here in just a moment. But one place that you'll never find anything bad, G-Mac, is Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's, if you are one of the lucky ones that got engaged over the holiday season, now is the time to set up your wedding registry, and you can do so at Bromberg's. You can register online, but nothing really compares to working one-on-one with Bromberg's experienced bridal consultants. They'll help you select everything you need, from china and crystal to silverware and casual pieces too. As Bromberg celebrates 190 years in business, start this new chapter with the experts who know registries best. Plus, enjoy 20% off wedding bands and special pricing on wedding party gifts. So register online at brombergsbride.com or visit Bromberg's in Mountain Brook or at the Summit.
All right, a little local flavor here. I'll try to get through these quickly. Marion University and SIA, they are the
Marauders.
no,
Mammoths.
They're the Mustangs.
they're the Lightning.
Lightning.
They took on Coastal Alabama.
Jaguars.
Close.
Crab cakes.
So they're Tigers.
Crab cakes?
I'm thinking coastal.
We have crabs.
Do we
The delicious crab cakes.
I wish.
or do we even
We got crabs.
try to they're the Coyotes.
Coyotes.
Very close.
Okay, I was.
Right in that same neighborhood.
Yeah, I was thinking it.
Not too far from that. By the way, I did not specify that this is junior college baseball. Coastal got the win 22-2 yesterday.
Okay. That's what we do.
They out-hit Marion University and SIA just 12-2. So 22 runs on 12 hits.
A lot of walks.
Now, they only had 4 at-bats.
That's it?
Your score after the first, 10-0.
Oh, okay.
Put a 10 spot up there
Starting
to
off
get
strong.
going.
I love it.
And by the way, only 2 home runs in the game,
That's it?
putting up 22.
Okay.
Yes. In JUCO men's basketball, the LaGuardia Community College,
The Lakers.
no,
The airplanes. The
Gauchos.
Jets.
Redhawks
Ah,
Red
Jets
Hawks.
would have been right there.
just went down to the Dutchess Community College.
Dragons.
No,
The Passers.
I'll say I like Dragon. Devils.
no. They are the Seagulls.
Okay.
Oh, we just talked about them.
They took the game 110-42
Mm-hmm.
in men's JUCO basketball. 51-22 at the half. LaGuardia Community College shot the ball 53 times.
And they made.
17.
All right.
Ah,
Now, they did put up 13 threes.
They made at least one.
None.
Okay.
none?
0.
Hmm.
They did limit it to 30 turnovers.
Okay. That's what they got them.
30.
Under 50. That's good.
Dutchess Community College shot 46 of 79.
They got hot.
18 players got minutes in the game.
Depth.
3 of 9 from 3.
Rebounds.
33%.
58-25
Okay. That's what they got.
for the game.
That's what
That'll
That's your
do
bad
it.
box scores of the day. We're back tomorrow. 3-man front is next.